Oh, it is truly alarming and terrifying. I am standing right in the heart of the storm in Japan, where nature is showing its terrifying strength. The sky is pitch black, rain is pouring, and the wind is howling. What a haunting scene. But what makes this storm particularly fierce and unpredictable? Join me in this special room. Japan, a country familiar with natural disasters, is once again tested by the heavens this week. Torrential rains have caused dikes to burst, severe landslides, and the continuous downpour has completely disrupted the daily lives of millions. Could the cost of future storms be even more frightening? In the darkness of the storm, lives swept away by floodwaters are fighting every second for survival. Rescue teams tirelessly venture into the heart of the storm, undeterred by danger, to search for and save those caught between life and death. Are we witnessing the silent bravery and sacrifice of heroes without capes? From the center of Tokyo to isolated villages in Kyushu, the storm has spared no one. Streets have turned into rivers, homes into islands, and the lives of thousands have been turned upside down. Amidst the wrath of nature, there are stories of resilience and human warmth, despite the cold of the snowstorm. And as the storm continues to rage northward, we are forced to ask, are we ready to face the dangers that the future may bring? Are extreme weather patterns the new normal that we need to mentally prepare for? Typhoon Shanin is raging through southern Japan. With terrifying strength, this storm is not just a natural phenomenon, but a major challenge for the people here. What makes Shanin so intense? Let's explore now. Last Thursday, Shanin made landfall in Kyushu with terrifying force, bringing heavy rain and strong winds, submerging the entire area in water. Strong winds have destroyed many structures, uprooted trees, and blown away everything in its path. 3 lives have been claimed by nature's fury. Rescue teams are working non-stop to bring people to safety. What makes this storm extremely dangerous is the unusual and rapid change in its intensity and direction. Initially forecasted as a medium-strength storm, Shanin quickly intensified as it approached land. Typhoon Shanin is not just a heavy rainstorm. It carries with it destructive winds so strong that nothing, from trees to signs and even vehicle, can withstand it. But even more terrifying, these winds have brought floods and landslides, posing a survival challenge for thousands. As Shanin continues northward, we need to reflect on our preparedness and response to the growing frequency of natural disasters. From southern Japan, I am your name, and the question we must ask is not just how to recover, but how we can become stronger in the face of nature. By the late afternoon, when Shanin's strength seemed to have diminished to a speed of just 9 miles per hour, damage it left behind remained. In the city of Mik, chaos was inevitable. Trees were uprooted, cars thrown aside, and windows shattered, creating a scene of devastation. The provincial disaster response team reported that at least 40 buildings were severely damaged. Meanwhile, authorities are working tirelessly to assess and address the destruction left by Shanin. But what is most important to highlight is the resilience and unwavering spirit of people here. Shanin is not just the name of a storm. It represents the uncontrollable power of nature, challenging all human preparation. With winds gusting over 100 miles per hour, this storm didn't just bring heavy rain, submerged entire regions in water. In Miyazaki, rainfall exceeded 2 feet in just 24 hours, an incredible record, pushing rivers to the brink of historic floods. Streets turned into rivers, homes submerged in water. In this state of emergency, the focus is not only on rescue, but also on rebuilding. Starting last Thursday, this storm made landfall in Kyushu, bringing record rainfall, nearly 2 feet in just 24 hours. Put that into perspective, it's the amount of water a region typically receives in a month. Rivers quickly overflow, rising to dangerous levels, turning streets into raging torrents. In Yufu, a famous hot spring town, the usual tranquility was disrupted by fierce water currents. The river overflowed, breaking through dikes and splashing high into the air as it crashed down on the buildings, a witness to nature's destructive force. But it's not just heavy rain and floods. The winds blew fiercely, reaching speeds of 67 miles per hour. These winds were strong enough to uproot trees, toss vehicles, and even shatter windows in surrounding buildings. As a result, more than 40 buildings in Meek were reported to have sustained serious damage. And as night fell, darkness did not just cover the area. Nearly 250,000 households across Kyushu, especially in Kagoshima, were left without power. The scene resembled a ghost town, where the only light came from flashlights and rescue teams working to restore order amidst the wreckage. At this moment, approximately 20,000 residents are seeking safety in community centers and school gymnasiums. Before Shonan made landfall, heavy rains caused landslides throughout the area, including a tragedy in the city of Gamagori where a house was buried, resulting in the death of 3 people and serious injuries to 2 others. Local disaster officials are working relentlessly to respond to the continuous challenges. In addition, on Amami Island, a motorcyclist was severely injured after being blown over by the strong winds, vivid proof of the terrifying power of this storm. The violent gusts not only blew away small. Currently, officials are preparing for more potential damage as Shonan continues its northeastward path. Although business continues as usual in Tokyo, the forecast for this weekend is heavy rain, which may bring additional challenges to the region. Approximately 20,000 residents have sought shelter in community centers and school gymnasiums set up by local authorities as Shonan continues to wreak havoc. The heavy rains caused by the storm have overwhelmed the ground's capacity, resulting in severe landslides, one of which buried a house in Gamagori, claiming the lives of 3 people and seriously injuring 2 others. On Amami Island, the situation was equally tragic, as a motorcyclist was severely injured when a strong gust of wind suddenly blew through. Local fire officials documented the incident as clear evidence of Shonan's terrifying strength, prompting preparations for more potential damage as the storm continued northeast. Despite business continuing as usual in Tokyo, weather forecasts indicate that heavy rain will persist into the weekend, raising concerns about the possibility of further floods and landslides. Over 250,000 homes across Kyushu, particularly in Kagoshima, lost power, causing significant disruption to people's lives and businesses. it doesn't stop there. The relentless, non-stop rains over the past week have turned green valleys and fertile plains into flooded lands, devastating not only the landscape, but also the lives of thousands. With each passing hour, the situation grows more dire. Roads have turned into rivers, and bridges have become powerless against the raging waters. Traffic has come to a complete standstill, forcing residents to seek safety on higher ground. Notably, by last Friday, 4 people had gone missing, including 2 police officers tragically swept away by the floodwaters. In provinces like Yamagata, although the skies cleared by Friday, the threat of floods and landslides remains ever present. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has urged people to prioritize safety, emphasizing the importance of taking evacuation orders seriously and promptly to avoid further tragedy. Cabinet Secretary Yashimasa Hayashi just confirmed that 3 people have tragically died. 1 person remains missing, and 2 others are in critical condition. Unfortunately, the speed of Shannon is like a professional football team, charging into a season that no one can stop. And not only that, Miyazaki has witnessed a true golden rain event with nearly 2 feet of rainfall in just 24 hours. That's equivalent to the entire average monthly rainfall, turning the rivers into roaring lions unleashed from their cages. By the end of the day, as Shannon began to lose momentum like a stage performer winding down after a grand performance, speed slowed to 67 miles per hour. But don't be fooled by this sluggishness. The aftermath it left behind is still pushing authorities to work at full capacity. In Meek City, Shannon's performance left chaos. Trees snapped like matchsticks, vehicles tossed like toys, and house windows shattered like pieces of a sad painting. Provincial Disaster Response Team reported damage to up to 40 buildings, and that's just the preliminary figure. If you want to see a water dance, just look at NHK footage of the river in Yufu, where the water surged as high as ballet dancers on stage. The river overflowed, shooting water into the air, creating a spectacular yet terrifying scene. Officials from the Japan Meteorological Agency have been continuously updating the situation, and the latest news tells us that large rain cloud bands have formed over the northern regions of Kyushu, Yamaguchi Prefecture, Shikoku, and the Tokai region. We're not just talking about a few drops of rain. No, folks, we're talking about rain capable of turning everything upside down. And did you know that the total rainfall expected in the next 24 hours by Friday night could reach up to 400 millimeters in Shikoku? That's enough rain to catch fish in your backyard. And it doesn't stop there. The northern regions of Kyushu and Tokai are expected to get 300 millimeters, while Kanto Koshin and Chugoku won't escape with 250 and 200 millimeters respectively. Amidst all this chaos, the wind has decided not to be left behind. Wind speeds reached 111.2 kilometers per hour at Iki Airport in Nagasaki Prefecture. Just imagine, that's the kind of wind that could make you fly like Mary Poppins if you're not careful. And not to be outdone, the sea is also in a rebellious mood. Waves are expected to rise as high as 7 meters off the coast of northern Kyushu and Shikoku by Friday. These are not the kind of waves you'd want to surf on your holiday, I assure you. With all this happening, officials have warned people in the most heavily affected areas not to attempt traveling to evacuation centers at night. Instead, the best option is to stay indoors, shelter in sturdy buildings, or move to higher floors, staying far from the mountains at risk of landslide. As the final clouds of Typhoon Shanin clear from the skies over Japan, we are once again reminded of the terrifying and unpredictable power of nature. In recent weeks, Japan has faced one of the most severe flooding disasters in its recent history, leaving behind heart-wrenching damage and unimaginable hardship. But this disaster has also shown the extraordinary strength of the human spirit and the resilience of communities. Rescue teams, tireless volunteers, and millions of Japanese people have come together to rebuild their lives in the wreckage. From deeply flooded areas to isolated communities, the story of each individual we've encountered is a testament to resilience and hope. They have not only been victims of natural disaster, but also victors in the relentless fight against adversity. No matter how high the rivers rise or how fierce the storm rages, their spirit and determination remain as steadfast as a sturdy dike. We thank you for accompanying us during these difficult times. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Best Notes channel so you don't miss any updates from us.